Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. My name is Peter Loshak. His name is Mike Brenner. We are the Odds Couple. We come to you from SportsbookReview.com, SBROdds.com. This is a very popular and always fun Top Dogs and False Faves show that we do with Doug Upstone from Vegas Pro Insiders Daily. Doug Upstone went 1-2 last week, Mike Brenner.
I know he's human.
He is human. Brings him to 23-18 overall on the year, which is still okay, which is still pretty good. No, it's actually still very good, but been a stretch of mediocrity, right, Doug Upstone?
It has been, not happy about it at all. And, last week kind of typified it, I thought. You have two teams, San Diego, and I forget actually off the top of my head who the other team was, but two teams that had a total of 8 turnovers. And I don't care how good you are at handicapping, when your teams when your teams have 8 turnovers combined, you're going to struggle.
Yes, and actually, Doug's record is still 56%, which is still an excellent record in the NFL. That's a professional level win rate in the NFL, and exactly as Doug said, there's a lot of uncertainty in the NFL, which is why you can't really pick into the 60s reliably.
And you can't when those bad beats happen, Pete. When those bad beats happen, something like that with those turnovers, nothing you can do about it except get up, brush your knees off, and move forward.
All right,
that's what Doug's all about.
Having said that, NFL Week 15. Let's see what Doug has for us. What's your first top dog or false favorite NFL Week 15, Doug?
We're going to go with a false favorite, and it's going to be the Miami Dolphins. Now, the Dolphins last week, as it turns out, that was the other team I was trying to think of, was Arizona. But the Dolphins last week, they got the good news by beating Arizona, but then they got the bad news about Ryan Tannehill. Then not great news, but at least he's going to probably be able to come back if they make the playoffs. But looking ahead here, against the Jets, even though I'm not a big Jets fan here, we got Matt Moore going for Miami, and he has thrown 16 passes in the last 4 years, and the last time he started a game was 2011. Hey, I'm no big Bryce Drew fan in this particular case, but at least he's played a couple of games and started a couple of games, so he's got a little, let's say, rhythm going. And then when you consider that Miami is 0-8 against the spread in their last 8 division road games, I think they're a false favorite in this spot.
That's an interesting analysis. Mike Brenner, I told you my initial thoughts on this game in the in our opening line show, where I thought that maybe the situation sets up for Miami. Bryce Drew came in, got a win in his first start.
Bryce Drew's playing baseball.
Sorry. Bryce Petty got a win in his first start in San Francisco. Now he comes back to the second game, whereas Moore, who does have obviously NFL experience, this is going to be his first start in a long time. So and in general, I feel like I like Miami a little bit more as a team in general than the Jets, but I also was sort of like expecting Miami to be a dog here, so this is a tough one. What do you think, Mike Brenner?
It is. It's exactly that, and I'm kind of shocked that they are, a road favorite, but this is a 10-foot pole for me because there's just too many unknowns, and I'm just not willing, to put any money behind it. And like Doug said, it's been a long time since Matt Moore was running an offense and really had a team, under his wing, so that's not going to happen overnight. The Jets, though, are an absolute mess, but I think at the end of the day, maybe weather plays into this because it's in New York. So with that being said, I wouldn't talk Doug off any ledge if he's going with the Jets.
All right. Well, right now the line is 2 or 2.5. It did open at 3, but we can credit Doug Upson with 2.5. I'm interested to see what his other 2 picks will be. Will they be Cleveland as a big dog? Will it be Tampa Bay maybe? Will it be Denver as a home dog? Cincinnati as a home dog?
He's fishing,
see.
Dennis.
Doug Upson, what is your second false favorite or top dog for NFL Week 15?
Well, I'm going to go with the top dog, but it's not going to be those teams. It's going to be the Detroit Lions this week. Now, Detroit and the New York Giants are mirror images of each other. Neither team has a very good offense. They have no running game or very little running game, and they depend entirely on their defense and their quarterback to make a couple of plays. Now, when I saw this line at Detroit +5, I think that's just too many points, just in general. And when you have two teams, how I look at this at least, and you guys tell me if you agree or disagree, but when you have two teams to me that are pretty much even, it's always best to take the points. Plus the fact that when you consider that the Giants coming off an upset as a home underdog and they have a winning record on the season, teams like this are only 6-29 in their next game. So I like Detroit here as a top dog.
Yeah, I mean, as I told you, Mike Brenner, if it weren't for the finger injury to Matt Stafford, I'd be all over Detroit. No brainer, no hesitation. The finger injury does give me pause, though.
Yeah, and it should, but guess what? That guy is a damn fighter. He's a gunslinger, and I like Doug's analogy there because that 6-29 numbers don't lie,
yes.
And that's very, very strong. I think Detroit's hungrier than the Giants, and I think the Giants kind of quenched their thirst when they said, "Hell, we beat Dallas 2 times now."
Yeah.
Might be a really good spot. Might be a great pick.
Doug Upstone, what's your take on the finger injury to Matt Stafford?
Well, it's certainly a concern, but he's going to wear a glove. It's not an impossible situation. Is he going to be necessarily as accurate or have the same velocity as he normally would? No, he's not going to. But I still think he can make enough plays. And again, I don't see what we've seen Eli Manning, who's made quite a few turnovers in the last several weeks. I think that kind of balances out. I don't think it's a big distraction or detraction in this case. I think it's pretty much still an even game with even teams. That's why I'll take the points.
So with that being said, Doug, does weather play as a factor into this if there is some nasty weather up there in New York?
Yeah, well, the possibility exists. Sure, if it's like really cold and you got a bad finger, yes, that's a possibility. But I think, at least in this case, that Matthew Stafford's a little smarter maybe than Derek Carr was a week ago last Thursday, because Carr didn't wear a glove with basically the same injury, which just totally mystified me, as to why he wouldn't. Now, he might not like it, but it's what you have to do in order to, to play and to be successful. So, I think Stafford will be fine with it. Will it matter? Potentially. All we can do is see what happens.
All right. Lions +5 is Doug Upstone's second pick for this week, and I predicted his third one is going to be Chicago as a home dog. Let's see. Doug Upstone, what's your third false favorite or top dog for NFL Week 15?
Well, Peter, that was certainly among the games that I was looking at, but I decided I like something a little bit better, and I think there's a false total on the board this particular week, and that's going to involve New Orleans and Arizona. Now, both these teams, for the most part, are out of the equation as far as the playoffs go, and Drew Brees now turns 38 years old next month, and in his last 2 games, he's had 6 interceptions and no touchdowns, which pretty much is amazing when you consider it's Drew Brees. Now, is he starting to slide down the other side? Maybe. But like Mike likes to talk about, pride comes into play in a lot of cases for professional football players, especially quarterbacks. So I think Drew Brees is going to be ready to go this particular week, and the New Orleans Saints are 9-1 over against losing teams. The other thing is that you look at the Arizona defense. Even though statistically they're number 1 in the NFL in total defense, in their last 6 games, they've given up 27.8 points per game. Now, it's not all on the defense. The offense has certainly contributed, and the special teams, to that negative number. Nevertheless, the number did occur. The numbers don't lie. The Cardinals are 8-1 over when the line is between 3 and 3 either way. I think the over is going to be the play in this game, and that's why I think the total is off.
All right, well, It's a split line, 50 or 50.5. So Doug Upstone recommending a play on the over 50 in Saints, Arizona. It makes sense to me. What do you think, Mike Brenner?
It does, too, because, you got 2 defenses that definitely struggle. And, once you throw in that white towel and that season's over, anything goes. And just like Doug said, Drew Brees, pride, he's so much better than 6 interceptions with no touchdowns. He's going to he'll pride and will himself to have a good game. I like that.
All right. Doug Upstone, thanks so much. We'll talk to you again next week for your false faves or top dogs for NFL Week 16.
Thanks, Doug.
My pleasure, gentlemen.
Go to SBRodds.com. Browse, compare, and shop live odds available at top online sportsbooks.